Joining us now, Congressman Dan Meuser from House Foreign Affairs and Fox News contributor Liz Peek. Happy St. Patrick's Day to you both. First, it's great to have you both back on. You know, let's take a listen to Vladimir Putin. It's a sign that he sounds like he's on the ropes here. He wants to, quote, cleanse Russia of traitors. Watch this.
But any people, and even more so the Russian people, will always be able to distinguish true patriots from scum and traitors and simply spit them out like a fly that accidentally flew into the mouth. Spit them out. I am convinced that such a natural and necessary cleansing of society will only strengthen our country.
Congressman, your reaction?
Well, happy St. Patrick's Day to you as well. It sounds as if Putin has picked up some Stalinist language, and it certainly sounds like he's in a pretty difficult position. And that's not going to stop, Liz. You know, I do think Zelensky is certainly getting to them, watching his countrymen be murdered and destroyed. And one of these days, you know, Putin's going to probably be coming to Zelensky looking for a deal. But the olive branches have somewhat been extended. But one thing's for sure, Vladimir Putin is going to be a war criminal for the rest of his days.
You know, we hear you loud and clear, Congressman. Liz Peek, I want your reaction to this, because this is what's happening in Washington. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, he wants to haul in big oil CEOs into hearings to accuse them of price gouging. Liz, this feels like the Obama White House in 2010 all over again.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Can you imagine at this moment in our history when we have learned the big lesson that energy security is national security, Liz? We want to undermine that as much as possible. Biden has done that from day one. He claims otherwise, but there's a raft of things he's done that make it really unpalatable for investors to put money into the oil field. So shame on Schumer. He knows better than this. This is just all virtue signaling and kind of play acting, because this is going to be a huge issue coming into the midterm elections. Everyone is aware what the price of gasoline is. They know that if it's up $1.75, $1 of that is on Biden, not on Putin. And this is something every American feels very keenly, and particularly middle-income and low-income Americans who have to buy gasoline to commute and to get to work and all the rest of the things. So this is a big deal. It's
a good point you just made. And Congressman, to Liz's point, you know, now we have House Democrats just voting against a Republican bill for energy independence. It would have brought back the Keystone Pipeline without a permit, and also open up U.S. oil and gas leasing across the country. For about 100 far left, the Progressive Caucus are saying Biden's got to do an executive order to ban U.S. oil drilling on all drilling on federal lands. Your reaction to that?
Well, my reaction is it's just not Biden oppressing and on the assault on our domestic energy industry. It's clearly that the House Democrats, they're weakening us economically. They're weakening our national security. They've set the stage geopolitically for us to be, for energy to be used against us, rather than us have energy, our domestic energy as a point of our superpower. So, What the work is being done is highly detrimental. Again, it's weakening us. We've unfooted ourselves from the stronger position, and we need to react. We need to react in the interest of the United States.
You know, Liz, you know, there's a lot of jobs. 32 out of 50 states produce oil. Inflation is too much money chasing too few goods. Why not ramp up the oil supply, right? I mean, we have 30% more money printing in the money supply since the pandemic began. There's that, Liz. There's also this. So when you look at what's going on in the oil industry, it's down 2 million barrels per day since 2019, Liz. But we get a lot of rhetoric out of the far left and Democrats saying, well, U.S. oil should do more. What do you say?
Liz, there is no possible reason that we are not doing everything possible to increase oil production right now. It is going up barely, slowly, but again, what has come out of the Biden administration is just this incredible hostility, and it's through all the agencies. They are using so many different methods of trying to discourage oil field investment. But Republicans are going to remind voters that Biden would rather go to Venezuela or Iran for oil than to Texas. And it is such a stupid policy. It is all climate zealotry, Liz. And I get it that we may want to have a long-term transition to green energy. It should be done thoughtfully and carefully and not put our nation's economy at risk which is what we're doing now.
And Congressman Representative Dan Sullivan of Alaska, he's pointed to government memos he has and correspondence inside the Department of Interior right from the get-go. The minute that President Biden sat down, they suspended U.S. Drilling on federal lands. They suspended the authority of local Bureau of Land Management offices to approve oil leases and drilling permits. They stopped any onshore or offshore fossil fuel leases and permits to drill. He also wants an investigation of conflicts of interest. 4 senior political appointees in the Interior Department, he says, they work for environmental groups, and now they're shutting down U.S. energy. That's what he's saying.
Yeah. Day one, they shut down the Keystone, putting tens of thousands of people potentially out of work, caused an immediate spike. Gasoline prices were way up, well over $1 up, well before the Ukraine crisis began. And meanwhile, they're providing outreach to our adversaries, including Russia, including Venezuela. It's truly an upside-down, inverted policy that has woke all over it, and it's time for them to wake up and woke down.
And now, Liz, I like your reaction to this. Democrats relying on social media like TikTok for its messaging. The White House is relying on it, too. Eric Swalwell out with a crazy claim about Ukraine on TikTok. Watch this.
We can do it, Joy. And there's a meme, or a TikTok video about logistics. Like, you're telling me logistics, that's what's standing between innocent babies and mothers in Ukraine, is we can't figure out the logistics for all the capabilities the U.S. and NATO countries have. We can't give jets to pilots who are able to fly them.
Why is gas so expensive, and why is the United States inflation rate at a 4-time decade high? I had the opportunity to ask the White House why gas down the street is $7, and here's what they said. The obvious reason: we're getting out of a 2-year pandemic. When use goes up, price goes up. Now, with Putin starting this horrific fight between Ukraine and Russia, nobody wants to work with him and do international trade.
I've argued against any more oil drilling or gas drilling on federal lands, that we can and to stop that.
Liz, what's going on with White House messaging?
It's really a mess, isn't it? But I want to actually talk about something kind of related, Liz. Well, we're trying to have TikTok explain a muddled energy policy from the White House. Russia has implemented one of the most draconian clampdowns on information. What we should be doing, in my view, is an all-out press to tell the Russian people what is actually going on in Ukraine. All the journalists have been thrown out of the country or have left because of the severe fines that are being levied for telling the truth. We need to make sure that Russians know what's happening in Ukraine. Forget this TikTok. Let's put that money to use in trying to stop this invasion and the horrible things that are happening.
It's a great point. Liz Peek's a great writer, too. Read Liz Peek. She's wonderful. Congressman Dan Meuser, you're terrific, too. Both of you, we'll have both of you back on again soon.